Hi there, I'm Chris Berman. We got a lot of games to cover, so let's get to it. In our first game this week, we had the Redskins steamroll to a 27-point blowout. Sylvester Morris had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Patriots pick up their first win of the year. Joe Little Bighorn had over 50 yards receiving and helped his Saints beat the Cardinals. In the city by the bay, San Francisco, we had the 49ers get sent home with a 14-point loss. Down in Qualcomm Stadium, we had the Chargers losing by 13. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Jared Baxter might be the biggest loss on this list. Doctors confirming the worst this week, a torn hamstring. And that'll put him out for 8 weeks. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Ryan Pickett is probably the one that most leaps out at you. He'll be out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs. Now, on to even bigger news, as you may have already heard. Jamar Fletcher will miss the remainder of the season. So now that secondary is going to have to really come together if they're going to make up for his absence. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
Colts, Jaguars. Troy Edwards is so dangerous inside the red zone. And call signals at the 5, and there it is, a quick post, a slant touchdown. The Jaguars go on to win this by the final score of 17-10. The Eagles' defense held their opponents to under 150 passing yards in their win at Chicago. We had a big trade also of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
Over now to news of a trade that might have some ramifications. This guy leaves the Eagles and is on his way to the Packers. And he's a smart enough player that he should have no trouble adapting to his new line mates. In exchange, they'll get someone to beef up their roster. Al Harris is a guy that ought to be able to fit right in with his new club, and he should make his presence felt over time.
The Dolphins won at home, but will take to the road next week to meet the Patriots. Amon Green had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. Mark Bolrichter had over 50 yards receiving and helped his Chiefs beat the Ravens. Raiders, Texans. Jamie Image Sharper playing a little defense outside. He can play linebacker against the run and against the pass, and we were right. 16-yard touchdown. The Texans win this one by the final score of 24-13. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Bengals pick up win number 2. And last but not least, we had the Panthers come away victorious. So that'll just about do it. But before we go, I'm going to toss out a few game balls to my prime-time players. Each and every one of these men had a week to remember. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.